The wind moved softly over the dry alien cornfield. The sky was dark purple, filled with heavy clouds. Somewhere far away, a machine was roaring. She opened her eyes slowly. Her name was Nira. She was just 16, and her arms were tied behind a wooden post with rough rope. Her legs were numb. Her lips were dry. Dust blew into her face. Her own voice cracked. Help ... Anyone ... No one answered. Around her, tall red alien corn blocked the view. She couldn't even see the sky fully. She could only hear the deep, slow sound of machines. Getting closer. The ground started to shake. The harvester was coming. Her heart beat faster. Just this morning, she was home. Her brother hugged her. Her mother gave her food. But it was all fake. Lies. They brought her here, tied her up, left. Her, you helped a human. You brought shame. Now the earth can take you. Their voices echoed in her head. Tears rolled down her cheek. Her people hated humans. But 1 year ago, a human boy was lost near their village. Mira gave him food and water. She did not understand hate. She just saw a scared boy. She didn't know it would make her a traitor. Now, she was going to die. The sound of the harvester was loud now. She could hear the blades spin sharp, fast, deadly. The huge metal machine would cut through the field, destroy everything in its path. It didn't stop for anyone. Nira screamed, "Stop, please." Nothing. The machine kept moving. Closer. Then she heard a shout. Not her own, a different voice, a human voice. "Hey, shut it down. There's something in the field." Metal screeched. The machine made a loud grinding noise and slowed down. Nira turned her head. Her neck hurt. Her eyes could barely see, but she saw a shadow. A tall figure ran toward her. Not a machine. A man. He reached her and quickly pulled out a knife. "Hold still," he said, voice calm but fast. Nira couldn't speak. She was frozen, afraid. The ropes fell to the ground. She gasped, falling forward. He caught her. "Who did this to you?" he asked, looking around. She tried to speak. No words came. The man looked human. Dark jacket, worn pants, dusty boots. His eyes were kind but confused. "You're not from here?" he said slowly. She nodded weakly. "No." He looked around again. The machine was now silent behind him. The field was quiet, but danger still felt near. "We can't stay here," he said. "Come on." He helped her stand. She fell again. He picked her up in his arms. She passed out. Later, in a small wooden house on the edge of the farm, Nira opened her eyes again. She was lying on a bed, soft, warm, clean water in a cup. Near her, a blanket over her body. She sat up slowly, confused. The man entered the room. "You're awake," he said. "Where?" She whispered. "You're safe. This is my farm. Name's Eli." She blinked. "You single quotes read ... human." He smiled, just a little. "And you're not." They both were silent for a moment. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "You looked like you needed it," he answered. "And I don't care what planet someone's from if they're about to die." She lowered her eyes. "My family left me," she said. "They tied me up, said I was ... wrong. Because you helped someone like me?" She nodded. Eli shook his head. "People can be cruel when they're scared." Nira looked out the small window. The sun was setting outside. The sky was deep red now. "Will they come for me?" she asked. Eli's face grew serious. "Maybe, but they won't find you here." She looked at him. "Why are you not afraid of me?" He gave a soft laugh. "Because I've met monsters before. You're not one of them." Outside, in the far corners of the farm, something moved in the shadows. Eyes watched the house. Someone knew Eli was hiding something, and they were not happy. The old man walked between the red corn stalks. his boots heavy with dust, the sun rising behind his small wooden house. His name was Eli Ward. He had lived alone on this land for 15 years. People in the human colony said the soil here was strange. Crops grew too fast, insects were too quiet, and the nights were too still, but Eli liked it. The silence, the rhythm. The field listened. The soil remembered. He touched one of the tall red stalks. "Morning," he whispered to it. His tractor beeped in the distance. Time to work. But then, something made him stop. A crow was flying in slow circles above the south field. It cawed again and again, angry. Warning. Eli narrowed his eyes. Crows didn't cry for nothing. He climbed onto his old tractor, started the engine, and moved toward the sound. The wind blew faster now. As the harvester rolled forward, sensors lit up on the screen. Foreign object detected. Eli frowned. He shut down the machine fast and jumped off. The red corn swayed in waves as he pushed through the stalks, and there she was, a girl tied to a post like some kind of offering. Her skin was pale blue, her hair silver like moonlight, eyes closed, lips cracked. He almost stepped back. "Alien," he whispered, but she was small, weak, hurt, not a soldier, not a monster, just a girl. He took out his knife. Now she was in his home. Eli sat on a wooden chair near the fireplace. The girl slept on the couch, wrapped in a wool blanket. He had given her water, cleaned the cuts on her wrists, and set some bread on the table. Still, she hadn't said a word. He watched the fire. He had fought in the old colony wars, seen things, done things, buried friends and enemies, but this felt different. She woke with a start. "Where am I?" she asked, voice rough. "You're safe," he replied. "You're on my farm." She stared at him. "Why did you help me?" Eli leaned forward, hands clasped. "Because no one deserves to be left like that, not even an alien. I'm not like the others," she said. "I helped a human. They called me a traitor." Eli gave a dry smile. "Then maybe you're smarter than the rest," she blinked. "What's your name?" he asked. "Nira." He nodded slowly. "All right, Nira. You can stay. But we need to be careful." Her eyes narrowed. "You're not scared of me?" He shrugged. "You don't scare me. Not yet." Outside, the wind carried whispers. From deep inside the red cornfields, small devices blinked, tiny metal insects with cameras for eyes. They sent images to someone watching from a black screen far away. A human voice crackled through a radio. "Target located. Unauthorized contact with subject. Observation continues." Back inside the farmhouse, Nira stood at the window, looking out. "Your world is beautiful," she said softly. Eli walked over. "It's not my world, not really. We just farm it." Nira turned to him. "But the land listens to you." Eli smiled, surprised. "You feel it too?" She nodded. "Your soil is not dead like ours. It remembers things. It's alive." He raised an eyebrow. "No one ever says that. Not even other farmers." She looked into his eyes. "Maybe they don't listen close enough." Eli didn't reply. Something about this girl was different. Not just alien, deeper, like she was connected to the land in ways he didn't understand, but something told him. She hadn't come to him by chance. That night, Nira couldn't sleep. She sat on the porch under the moonlight. The wind spoke in soft hums. Her hands glowed faintly. Her powers were waking up, but they were not safe. Inside the barn, something made a clicking noise. Hidden under the hay, a small red light blinked. It was watching, recording. Danger was coming, and soon they would both have to choose: hide, run, or fight. The soil had seen it all. It remembered the first seed that fell from the sky. It remembered the fire, The blood. The promises. It remembered her. Now it waited. Eli's boots crunched over the morning frost. He walked slowly through the field, carrying a shovel in one hand, a mug of strong black coffee in the other. He wasn't looking for crops today. He was looking for truth. Something didn't feel right. Since he rescued Nira, the land had been acting strange. Some stalks had twisted overnight. Patterns in the soil had appeared, circles, lines, symbols too perfect for wind or rain to make. Nira said nothing, but she watched the field like it was whispering to her. And Eli was listening too. Back at the farmhouse, Nira stood barefoot in the doorway. The morning sun touched her silver hair. Her eyes were closed. She could feel it, energy moving below. Like the soil was breathing. She stepped forward, placing her feet on the earth. A warm pulse moved up through her legs. Visions flashed. Fire. Screams. A machine buried underground. Lights blinking in darkness. And a voice, deep and ancient, whispered, "He must not find it." Nira gasped. Eli stabbed the shovel into the dirt at the far edge of his field, near the old stone wall that had stood since his grandfather's time. He dug carefully, following the strange round markings he found the night before. After just 3 feet, the shovel hit something hard. Clank. He knelt down and brushed the soil away with his hands. Metal. Not rusted. Not human. He looked up. The corn around him stood still, as if watching. Eli cleared more dirt. A glowing blue line appeared on the object like it woke up. He stepped back fast. The ground trembled slightly. "Hell no," he muttered, wiping sweat from his forehead. "What? Are you?" Inside the house, Nira suddenly grabbed her head. Her nose bled. Her hands sparked with energy. She ran outside toward Eli. "Don't touch it," she shouted. He turned, startled. "You knew this was here?" Nira fell to her knees, breathing hard. "It's old," she whispered. "Older than both our species. My people call it the vein. Your people were never supposed to find it." Eli frowned. "What does it do?" "It listens," she said. "It records memories. And when awakened, it shows them." The object pulsed again. Images hit Eli's mind like lightning. A war. Alien ships. Humans running. Beams of light from the sky. A baby wrapped in silver. Cloth. A hand pressing a button. The object falling from orbit. Buried. Then silence. He stumbled back, shocked. "That was this land," he said. "That happened here," Nira nodded. "My family helped bury the truth. That's why they fear me. I was born near the vein. I can hear it. I can feel what it knows." Eli stared at her. "And now I've touched it too." They looked at each other. They both felt it. They were connected now. But they were not alone. A black drone hovered high above the field, invisible to their eyes. It zoomed in silently. Inside a hidden facility far away, a man in a white coat smiled. "Bingo," he said. "They found it." Night fell. The object was buried again for safety. But the land no longer felt peaceful. Even the crows stayed quiet. Nira sat at the edge of the porch, staring at the stars. Eli sat beside her. "You think this thing will bring more trouble?" She didn't look at him. "It already has." He took a slow breath. "Why you? Why did your people want you dead just for knowing this?" She looked at him now. "Because if the truth comes out, the war between humans and my kind will end. And they don't want peace? They want control." Eli leaned back. "Well," he said, "they picked the wrong farmer to mess with." Nira smiled faintly. Deep. Underground. The object pulsed again. Softly. Patiently. It was waking up. The room had no windows. No sound. No clocks. Only cold light. White walls. Metal floor. And screens, dozens of them, each showing a different corner of the colony. One screen showed a red cornfield. Another showed a silver-haired girl standing beside a tired human farmer, and in the center of the room stood a man in a black coat, still, watching. His name was Director Marek. He had one rule: truth is not for everyone. He pressed a button. On the desk, a hollow voice filled the room. Subject 47 has made contact with civilian. Foreign object activated. Telepathic connection confirmed. He stared at the screen. So, he whispered, it's awake. He turned to his assistant. Send the crawler team, quietly. No helicopters. No lights, and tell Agent Reese he knows the girl. Back on the farm, Eli was fixing his tractor. He had slept badly. Dreams of war, machines, fire under his fields. Nira walked toward him holding a book. It was old, torn, dusty. She had found it in his attic. Your grandfather wrote this, she said softly. Eli wiped his hands. Yeah, he was a smart man. Said this land had secrets. Nobody believed him. He was right, Nira said. She opened the book to a marked page. A drawing. A strange symbol, the same symbol on the buried object. It's called the first mark, Nira said. It only appears when something is about to begin. Eli stared at it. Begin what? But before she could answer, a car approached from the distance, dust rising behind it. Nira tensed. Her eyes flashed silver for a moment. That's not. A neighbor. Eli reached for his shotgun. The car stopped at the edge of the farm. A tall man stepped out. Dressed in a brown jacket, dark glasses, a badge on his belt. He raised one hand slowly. Not here to shoot, he said. Just here to talk. Eli stood still. Name? Reese? Agent Reese, Human Defense Command. Nira's face turned pale. She knew that name. You were there, she said coldly, during the Ellerin fire raids. You gave the order. Reese removed his glasses. His eyes were tired. I also gave the order to spare the children, you included. Eli frowned. What do you want? Reese sighed. I came to warn you. They're coming. Who? Eli asked. My people, government. Black suits, silent drones, crawler squads. They know she touched the object. They know you saw it too. That's enough to get you both erased. Why are you warning us? Nira asked. Because I've seen what happens to people who know too much. And maybe I'm tired of watching. It happened. He handed Eli a small card. This has a code. If things go bad, run. Use it. There's a place that can hide you. Then he looked at Nira. Whatever power that thing unlocked in you, don't trust it yet. It can burn you from the inside. He walked back to his car and drove off without another word. That night, Nira sat under the stars again. This time she was shaking. Why now? She asked the sky. Why me? Eli joined her, handing her a cup of warm tea. Maybe the land chose you, he said. She looked at him. Or maybe it's trying to warn you before it's too late. Eli didn't reply. In the distance, beyond the hills, faint blue lights began to blink. Machines were moving. The crawler team had arrived. Inside the room with no windows, Director Marek stared at his screens. He smiled without warmth. Let the farmer run, he said. Let the girl burn. He turned off the lights. The recorder clicked, then hissed, then a voice spoke dry, old, full of fear. If you're hearing this, I'm probably dead. Or worse, they've buried something under our land, something alive. And my grandson must never find it. Eli froze. The recorder had been hidden in the back of an old metal toolbox in his grandfather's shed, covered in dirt, wrapped in cloth. The voice was his grandfather's, and it wasn't just a warning. It was a confession. Nira stood nearby, watching Eli's face. The recording continued. The girl, the one with silver hair. She came before. Not her exactly, but her kind. They're not just aliens. They're the ones who saved us during the first collapse. But we betrayed them. We took the land. We buried their tech. We erased the truth. And we told our children it was ours from the start if she's returned. It means the earth is remembering. The recorder clicked again and stopped. Silence. Only wind. Eli sat down on the wooden step outside the shed. His hands trembled. His eyes stared into nothing. My grandfather knew, he whispered, all this time. He knew this wasn't just a farm. Nira spoke gently. He tried to protect you, just like mine tried to erase me. Eli looked at her. You came here for a reason, he said. It wasn't just escape. It was return, she nodded. The object in your soil is not just memory. It's a lock, a key, a map, and maybe a weapon. Eli stood up. Then it's time we stop digging around it. We dig it out. They spend hours clearing the soil from the site. This time, they didn't hide from it. The object under the field had grown warmer. Its blue glows stronger. Strange symbols moved across its surface, now changing shape every few seconds. Then it opened. Just a small slit at first, like a breathing mouth. Inside was not metal, not wires, but light, floating shapes. A moving image, a projection, a face. Nira stepped back. She knew that face. My mother. She whispered, but the face was younger, softer, not cruel. This was from years ago, before the war, before the hate. The voice spoke from the object in a calm language. Nira translated aloud. If this is found by my daughter, know this, you were not meant to be a weapon. You were meant to be the bridge. The humans will forget, our kind will lie. But in the soil is the truth of both. Remember who you are. The light faded. Eli stepped away slowly. Your mother hid this message? Nira nodded, tears in her eyes. Before she changed. Before they broke her. She looked at her glowing hands. And if I'm the bridge, what am I supposed to connect? Eli looked toward the horizon. Maybe not just species. Maybe past and future. Maybe lie and truth. They didn't speak for a long time. Meanwhile, under the soil, far below the surface, something else had woken up. It had sensed the opening. It had heard the voice, and now it was moving. Not toward Nira, but through her. That night, Nira dreamed of fire. She saw herself standing in the middle of a burning city. Buildings melted. Machines screamed. And in her hands light turned to ash. She woke up gasping. Eli sat across the room, holding a loaded rifle. Crawler team's getting close, he said. We've got hours at most. Nira stood up. Then we need to decide. Decide what? He asked. Whether we run, or awaken the rest of it. Eli stared at her. You sure that's a good idea? No, she said, but maybe it's the only one left. Above them, in the night sky, satellites turned silently. All of them aimed at one small point on the planet, Eli Ward's farm. She stood in silence, staring down at the planet her kind had once called theirs. Commander. Vela, leader of the Ellerin Guardian Circle, was not used to waiting. Below her, through the glass dome of the warship, the red patches of Earth colony soil glowed under cloud cover. Her gaze fixed on one point. The farm. The same place she had once left her daughter to die. Status? She asked, voice cold, commanding. A soldier stepped forward. The object has been activated. Human contact confirmed. The girl is alive. Vela closed her eyes. So. Nira had survived. And now she was waking up. Meanwhile, on the farm, the wind was different tonight. Hot, heavy, smelled like metal and ozone. Eli felt it first. That itch on the back of the neck. The kind that told you, someone's coming. Nira was standing in the field, hands open, eyes glowing silver. The object underground pulsed beneath her feet like a second heartbeat. You feel that? Eli asked. She nodded. They're here. Your people? She didn't answer. She didn't need to. From the dark sky, 3 alien vessels descended silent as shadows. No engines, no fire. Just cold, black metal slipping through the stars like knives through water. They landed without a sound. Eli raised his rifle. Nira lowered his arm. That won't help, she whispered. But maybe I can. From the center ship, a group of Ellerin warriors stepped out. Then she appeared. Tall, armored, regal. Vela. Mother. Nir. Single quotes, S breath caught. Her hands lit up again. Not from fear but from pain. You left me, Nira whispered. Tied to the earth like trash. Vela did not blink. You betrayed your blood, she said. You helped a human child. You touched the core. You became unclean. I became awake, Nira said, stepping forward. You're afraid of what I might remember. You're not ready. Then stop me. The ground trembled. The object under the field pulsed once hard. A ring of blue energy spread out in a perfect circle, knocking the warriors to their knees. Even Eli staggered back. Only Nira and her mother stood still, locked in a silent battle of wills. Don't do this, Vela said. I have to, Nira replied. You chose control. I choose truth. Suddenly Betrayal. One of Vela's own soldiers turned. Raised a weapon, but not at Nir. At Vela. A blast fired. Eli saw it. Pulled Nira to the ground. Vela cried out. Her armor cracked. She fell to one knee. More chaos followed. Half the soldiers switched sides, firing at their own. The ground lit up with fire. The field burst into flame. The farm began to burn. A civil war had begun right here, in the dirt. Nira stood, her hands blazing. She screamed not in pain but power. From her palms, arcs of pure light shot out, forming a shield that covered Eli in the house. The energy bent the air. The soil responded, rising into sharp crystals, a natural defense. Eli had never seen anything like it. He had seen war, but this was rebirth. Vela, wounded, looked up at her daughter one last time. You have her strength, she said quietly. But not her curse. Whose? Nira asked. Vela looked at the glowing object under the ground. Your grandmother's, she whispered, the one who built it. And then she passed out. Eli ran to Nira. This place is going to fall apart. What now? Nira's eyes were glowing white-hot now. She was beyond afraid, beyond uncertain. I know what I am now, she said. And I know why they left me here. She placed her hand on the soil. The object pulsed once more. Hidden door opened. Underground stairs. Deep. Ancient. What's down there? Eli asked. Nira looked at him. Truth. And they went down. As behind them, the farm burned. Long before the machines. Before the wars. Before even the names. The soil was listening. It remembered footsteps that no longer had voices. Hands that planted stars, not seeds. Hearts that bled for peace. And were buried for it. And now it had something to say. Deep underground, Nira and Eli stepped into a chamber untouched by time. The walls were alive, glowing roots danced across them, forming shapes, faces, languages. They whispered not in words, but in memory. Eli held a lantern. But Nira didn't need light. The walls responded to her. The deeper she went, the warmer the space felt, like coming home. They reached a circle of stone, ancient, cracked, humming. In the center floated a cube of energy, slowly spinning. What is it? Eli asked. It's the truth, Nira whispered. The seed that started everything. She reached out and the cube responded. It opened like a flower. Light spilled out, wrapping around the room. Images flooded the space like a dream becoming real. An alien woman, silver-haired, holding a human baby. A treaty signed, then burned. Soldiers on both sides shaking hands in secret only to be punished. The creation of the vain, a living archive built not to win the war, but to stop it if it ever restarted. Nira stepped into the light and saw herself, not as a child, but as part of a long line. A bridge, yes, but also a spark. Eli watched quietly. You were always meant to come back here, she nodded. And you were always meant to walk beside me. The cube's light dimmed. A voice filled the chamber. One last choice, daughter of the divide. Let the past stay buried and walk into silence, or let the truth rise and break the world to rebuild it. Nira looked at Eli. If we release it, they'll all know. My people. Yours. Everything. Then maybe it's time they remember, Eli said. She smiled. Then she spoke one word. Release. Above ground, the war was still burning. Two alien factions fought across the ruined field. The farmhouse was in pieces. The sky was filled with smoke, but suddenly, everything stopped. A pulse of light shot up from the earth, reaching the clouds and then further into orbit. Satellites shut down. Drones crashed. Every screen turned white dot and then began to play the memories. Across the colony, humans and aliens saw it all. The betrayals, the buried truth, the peaceful beginnings, the lies that twisted it all. The truth was no longer hidden. It was alive. In the aftermath. Both sides lowered their weapons. Some cried. Some walked away. Others simply stood in silence, unsure what to believe anymore. But belief was not needed. The truth had spoken. A few days later, Nira sat on the steps of the rebuilt house, watching a child plant a seed in the soil. Beside her, Eli sipped coffee. Do you think it'll last this time? He asked. She looked at the field, now green, peaceful, healing. I don't know, she said, but at least we're not lying to the earth anymore. Far away, Vela walked alone through her broken ship, her armor gone. Her title forgotten. She watched the sky and whispered, Thank you, daughter. Back on the farm, the soil whispered once again, not in fear, not in pain, but in peace. Because for the first time in 100 years, the land could grow without hiding the roots beneath it.